13th floor. The 13th floor.
They ride. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. I'm your moderator, B. Jones, and I got my main man, Jiggy J. Dace, on the podcast this week. Baby, what's going on?
What's going on, man? As always, another beautiful day in paradise.
Yes, it is, man. I like what you got going. I like what you got going on.
Oh, you know what I mean?
Man, you know.
Rocking it, man. Enjoying this staycation I got going
thing, huh? Organized noise is what they call it nowadays.
Right. It's controlled passion is what it is. Controlled passion.
Controlled passion. That's nice. Faison, what's going on, man? I see you got your pink shirt on today.
Yeah, you know what? I do. I'm in DC, but it was a good long weekend. Namdi had some ear surgery, and he had his adenoids removed. So there was a lot to go through this weekend.
Wow.
But it was cool. He's bounced back. He's back in normal-ish, about 90%. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he acts when he's not sick. Because if he's happy already he's sick, he's going to be ecstatic not being sick. So we'll see. I'll keep it up to date.
What is an adenoid removal? What is?
And so in the back of your throat is kind of where that helps the liquid come out, so it gets stuck. So pretty much your back, so you don't like choke or anything. It's there, and then when you're sleeping, if you're snoring, it's because your adenoid is too big. So as a child, babies are born with it larger because it helps them. It's like a safety mechanism. When you get older, it kind of goes back and resorts back to like a very, very small pea. Mm-hmm. But his were there and they were large. They weren't too large normally, but it was like, hey, you're going it anyway. Go ahead and take it out and let him just have proper, flow through from his ears to his nostrils to all that sensory stuff is taken care of. So he went in there and took it like a champ. It's all good.
Nice. Nomad Fresh, Entrepreneur Ninja. What's happening, baby?
We out here, same day. It ain't the same day. It's a new day, but y'all know what it is, man. We tired, but we get.
Come on, man. You sound tired, boss.
I just
sound
put
tired, boss.
many miles on the road. Many more miles to go, man. Let's just get to the subject at hand. I got something for y'all at the end, Entrepreneur Ninja style. Holla at
I want to get into that, man. So when you tired, are you working a lot for yourself or are you working a lot for someone else?
I'm always working for myself. But
and not just in the, like a corporate standpoint, but, sometimes I find myself, just giving so much of myself where you just end up, like tired. Like you don't get the opportunity to have a staycation like my man Jay Days.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the above, right? Because I've been doing better at trying to continue my preservation, right? As far as the health tip and staying active and doing things, but then also, just working and how much I extend myself and all the different things and avenues I pursue. It's just been real out here, man. And then I've been having to put all types of miles on my vehicle. It's been, it's real life, and it's happening at the speed of life. But we here, man. We buckled up. We strapped in. Ain't going nowhere, man. To the moon, Alice. Lego.
Grind mode. You don't work, you don't eat. You don't grind, you don't shine, man. You got to get it. I tried to jump on that, fresh fitness, preservation jump. And, you check Instagram, 13th floor, please. I tried to do my best fresh rendition of that. But, boy, I don't know how you get all them words out, man, after the miles you be putting in, bro.
You was glowing, though. That was the difference. You was glowing. It's hard to talk when you just have an aura oozing around you. You can't really be saying it's hard to get it through all of that.
Yeah. But anyway, we want to get into the topic at hand, man. I want to talk a little bit about conflict in the workplace, man. A lot of recent experiences for me, and then some not so recent, but I just want to get you guys' take on a couple of things. The first thing I want to talk about is dealing with the coworker or the conflict coworker that kind of, makes things a little bit more difficult or is really resistant to not necessarily change, but the quote unquote right way of doing things. Because I found myself in recent times and in the past, when I've come to deal with difficult individuals, it's really a big test, for me. And then sometimes I've passed and sometimes I fail because, you know, I let emotions play more so into how I respond instead of having a big picture outlook on things. So I want to talk to you guys and get you guys experience and see if we can't find some tools that we can ultimately use within the workplace to kind of help deal with these difficult times.
The biggest tool is
Hey,
patience.
man. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say the biggest tool is patience and understanding, right? The hardest thing to accept as adults is that everybody doesn't think, act, and understand the same way that we do. And so when somebody's not falling in line and you personally can't compute how they don't understand, you have to be able to have that patience and understanding of everybody isn't cut from the same cloth, and not just on some, I work harder than them, or I'm a better person, but people do things differently and have different ways of thinking about things that you have to be accepting and understanding that just because you can put something together a certain way, somebody else doesn't have that same thought process. Doesn't mean that they're wrong and you're right, but having that understanding is a big key point in it.
I think that also ties into your level of expertise and your timing. You know, you're going to see things. You've been through these things. You've been through these experiences. You've seen these things happen. So if you've seen this, done this, and you're just trying to explain it, or the assumption that, oh, well, I can tell you ABC because you'll grab it because we've all done it before. I've been through it, so it should be easier. And it sometimes doesn't work that way. Sometimes you have to just, not dumb it down, but you got to think back. So, okay, where is your level of learning? Where's your level of understanding of this process? And then, okay, now I can explain to you in the way you understand it at that level, at the current moment.
Right. And I think a big thing is just picking your battles, man. Like knowing when you need to say something to that individual and when maybe you should just let that ride. Because at the end of the day, they human, you know what I mean? And that's who they are. That's how they are. Whatever the upbringing, whatever experiences they had that you may not have had. Like I think Fresh mentioned, just pick your battles and say, okay, that one is like, okay, let them be them. But in this situation, hey, while we're working together, we kind of have to go about it this way. And, and approach it like that. And that way it's kind of like a balance, if you will.
It's hard.
It's very hard.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Holding your
not an
team
option.
is probably the hardest thing you can ever do, because there are times that I want to just lash out and just let it go. And occasionally the other Gemini comes out, and when he comes out.
I just learned that, man, like the reason why we get so mad at people so quickly is because they're not doing it the way we would do it. You know what I mean? Like it's like if I'm watching somebody and they in front of them, I'm driving the car, and they in front of me and they don't use their turn signal. Maybe they don't use the turn signal to the last minute. You know what I mean? That's just what they do. You know? But I use it. I got at least a block before to let you know, hey, I'm about to turn. So it's just
because that's the proper way of doing it.
But systems in place, proper. So
systems in place. You learn the systems, you use systems, and they work for the reason. They've been going on for years prior to this. It will continue after this.
And that's what
the dang on system.
That's what the slave master said, though.
There are things that, yes, they're revolting.
Good point, Jay. That's a good point. But at some point, we have to evolve. And even in dealing with the conflicts within the workplace that I've had to deal with, I think that was the biggest part of my maturation and progression, is learning how to pick and choose those battles and really learning how to articulate myself, because, I was giving feedback that, I'm talking to this person and trying to get them to understand, the proper way of doing things, and I'm not doing anything but nagging them, in the process. And that's the last thing I want to do, even though you get to a point where you've been dealing with somebody for so long that it's almost like every little thing they do just annoys the heck out of you. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to bring it up all the time, but when it's certain things that, impact the business or progression in such a large fashion, you kind of have to. You can't just let that go. And articulating it in a way that it's received well is almost a struggle, because we as individuals, are not as receptive to feedback sometimes, and then you just get defensive. So overcoming that is an objection in itself.
And a scorned person, someone who's the negative Nancy of the group, or the awkward Bill, or maybe in your office, that person who's been
Awkward Bill.
I don't know. I just threw it out there.
We went from negative Nancy with perfect alliteration,
right? To awkward Bill. But you had that you've been building up so much, and it's probably because of misunderstanding, or you thought you were getting something this way and then you didn't get this, and now you got burnt by somebody and your trust levels are lower, so you don't think this is right, and now I don't care what you say because I need you to show me. I need to ask 5 different people the same question because you said it and it doesn't matter. All that boils down to that person. Like Jay said in the beginning, you never know where they've been and that road they've taken. But at the same time, it's a two-way street. Like, things are changing, and you got to say, listen, I can't hold on to that old baggage forever because people are going to leave you behind. It's like trash.
That's one of the craziest things I watch in the different corporate environments I come in contact with is the mentality of people. Exactly. The awkward bills.
Somebody put him on.
America.
Put him on mute.
That mentality of I am going to continue doing things the way they've been done without any care or understanding of potential improvements to make things better, or to understand, there have been advancements in technology or anything else that can benefit the business, that people get so stuck in those ways, right? And will not let some of the times the new talent be able to come in and show them that, hey, I know you've been doing it like this forever, but tablets were made and now you could do a lot of this stuff automatic through the tablet. So you need to just go ahead and embrace that technology. That is, the two sides of the spectrum, right? You have the moments when there are the people who are too hard-headed to accept your advice and your understanding of the way things need to be done, but then also the people who are too hard-headed to see that there are ways to improve upon that process.
Absolutely. So, Art, I want to come to you first, and then Fresh, I want to talk to you afterwards because you got the entrepreneur's perspective. And then Faison, you've been in corporate America for how long?
Oh man,
Ever.
My years, yeah.
Since Awkward Bill was just working in the mail.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that was just last week that I made that was made.
That's the name of this podcast.
Awkward Bill.
That go right there.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So Faison, what are some of the challenges that you face as an African-American male in corporate America? Or I guess some of the largest challenges that you face and how you've been able to overcome them and ascend to, the heights that you've ascended to?
Man, I guess it's kind of be an easy one for me because even starting at my first job I had, I was, my boss was a Caucasian male, but he didn't treat me like a young black man. He treated me like a regular worker. I got the same experience that he would have given another intern from another college or so forth. Then in school, I don't know, my first real job was at campus on NUM at the student, the IT department. And in the IT department, I was a manager. So as a manager in that process, I had the job where I was already in a senior level. So I had people there, and I was it was like 1 or 2 of us that are black that was in that group. So never had to deal with the diversity of, let's keep him in a bubble. It's always like, hey, let's put him front because he is, the black guy. He's happy. He's excited. He wants to learn. He's always there for it. And then my current role was the same thing in the current role. And it's right. It's just, I haven't had to have diversity amongst my superiors. Now, my coworkers have always been supportive of me. Mm-hmm. I've only had one coworker that was, that seemed to be a little bit conniving and kind of shady in the background. And once I became that person's supervisor, the true feelings came out, and it's again, the standards and processes. Everyone was treated the same exact way, no matter who you were. And I guess they thought that, we were coworkers before, so you should treat me differently. And I was like, no, you still gotta follow the rules. This is the standards for that. So I haven't seen, I've heard, I've read, I've been through this process where I see, the work people getting people getting overlooked or being treated differently or being skipped for raises. But I guess I just had the right supervisors. My old CEO was a black. My old marketing CMO was black. My current is white. But I've always had someone looking out for me, and they made sure that I was always on the same level. Like I don't know, I don't want to put it out there, but could be paid extremely well for my position. I could not be. I don't know. I don't ask this question because I'm happy, but I think that I'm pretty fair for where I get, and I've always been pushed and given more than those who just kind of wait around. And I also give it back. I give that back to people below me. So I always make sure that I'm looking out and reaching and giving them the increase they need to do this process, pushing them forward, make sure they're representing themselves well. But then you're looking at a guy who's not, not the typical sagging pants, talking with a different accents or stuff like that. Like I talk the King's English. I can switch to my Philly hood talk if I want to, but most of the time it's the King's English. Everything's fine. Everything's good to go. Other than my speed.
English, my black.
I was about to say, you speak art, okay?
Or Tasmanian devil.
I thought that was a language. My man just showed me a new language.
Reflection of my speed. That is the thing that makes difference, but it's still the King's English.
You have done a tremendous reduction in your speed, and I must say your texting has gotten a hell of a lot better in the year that I spent trying to learn art speak. So
there's still a couple of slip being. You just but you got better.
I blame predictive texting and my fingers and time. Those three things together causes chaos because there are times when I type 4 and the word "got" comes out. Don't know how it got there, but that happens. Or I type "of" and "if" comes out. So then it just keeps going. And by the time I hit send, I look back, I'm just like...
You just be fat fingering it. That's all that is.
I'm like, whatever. So I'm getting my new phone in a week and a half, and I should be good to go. Much bigger phone. Much bigger buttons.
I do got a question, though. I know you said that you kind of been, blessed, if you will, in that respect of being moved up the ladder, with everybody around you. Have you, from the position you are now, have you ever had interactions with, racial joking? Like, people feeling comfortable enough to make maybe they don't view it as derogatory, but it could be viewed as from our perspective as derogatory joking.
No, I'm actually one doing the joking. So I like to break the ice a lot. So I'll go out there and do some things that kind of throw it that way. And then once that ice is broken, we're all like, okay, it's cool, no problem. Like I'm like, hey, I'll be in a room like, wow, there's no chocolate here, just me. All right, cool. Once I guess I reverse Oreo. And I'll say it in the middle of a meeting, and then it breaks the silence, and everybody's good to go. But it's fine. Or I'll say, "Hey, man, luckily our new video just came out. I'm glad we got some more. It was a little whitewashed. Could we have a little bit more of a Asian black look around? Like, let's mix it up." So but I haven't had anyone like say it to me where I felt like I was uncomfortable. I was like, weird. I get that from my stores more than I get it from the level. So stores that I visit and the team members, I hear them talking, and that's kind of. I've never been the one to say the N-word or say this is the way I communicate in public versus in small groups is different. And when I see it, I'm just like, it hurts me to hear it. Like today, I was in my store and there was kids, they may be 12, 13 years old. And they were just saying, oh, I'm about to go out with this girl. I'm going to have her do this fellatio to me. And not saying that word. But said the right word, and no, man, F that, we're gonna do this, and and it was just like, gentlemen, ladies, we're not doing that. And the guy goes, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I'm so sorry. And somebody said, that's a grown man, we can't talk like that in front of a grown man. So they know, but I didn't come at them oh, y'all, you're together talking stupid. It was like, listen, hey guys, we're in public, be a little respectful, make sure you're in a business. They were like, oh, I'm so sorry, and they were cool with it. But I'm sure if I came a different way, that could have been a whole different escalation behind that process. So,
And that was the King's English, ladies and gentlemen.
Here you go. Let's
And let's put this other disclaimer. Don't be doing things that Art does because he's a BFBG. Don't get person to think that you about to go in there and be first Oreo.
Don't just
right.
I'm about to say that's how you know. That's how you know you made it. You know what I'm saying? So when you're at that senior VP level and everybody is in the room 2 tiers below you, waiting on you to speak, then you can go in there talking about reverse Oreos. So if you're still at that team member level, tread carefully.
Yes. Choose your words wisely.
Please.
Yeah, but it is good. You can throw yourself under the bus like that, man. That's an easy way to break the ice, man. It keeps everybody comfortable. But Fresh, man, you from the entrepreneurial side, man. Have you seen any like pitfalls based on your African American heritage and trying to work around in that space and those types of challenges ever come up?
1,000%. There have been many obstacles I have faced and many that I was not able to overcome due to, where all things only point to skin color being the deterrent of excelling past, certain areas. And it's been across the board, everything from simple tasks to, more complex. I was at one time the vice president of an international technology company and dealt with some of the craziest, most covert. When things came back and I found out what happened, it was like being in an M. Night Shyamalan movie where it was just so many different levels and pieces and aha moments. But I mean, I guess Childish Gambino says it best, right? This is America. It's what happens. You have to, going back to my initial statement with dealing with, people in the workplace in confrontation is you got to have that patience and the understanding of even when it isn't any quantifiable way to justify what has happened, to not allow it to drive you crazy, because that is one of the easiest ways to push yourself to craziness is by allowing that uncomfort to sink in. And while it does suck, I still use the fuel of my own personal acceptance, I guess, at the end of the day, to allow me to not get into that sunken place.
Hey, but he's totally right. And even though, I joke and I do the process of the reverse view of thinking it, don't let it fool you that I'm not looking to see if it's there. I fill the room, and if I see the room, then I adjust that process. But yeah, it's always, I haven't felt it, but I've seen it.
It's funny when you walk into that room though, because I've had it happen to me twice, and I've had to correct people in certain instances. Once was when the young ladies were being trafficked in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked into a room and there was a specific conversation about this. And it was funny hearing people talk like this when I wasn't around. And so I had to come in and immediately correct the conversation. But then it happened to me another time years later where I walk into the room, and I think it had something to do with police brutality, or an officer had probably just killed one of us. And I was outside of the room and heard the conversation. So I stopped before I went in and just kind of listened and let it play out. And I walk in the room and then everybody looks and then the conversation just dies. So it's kind of hilarious, but then like alarming to walk into a situation like that and then to kind of actively know that, yeah, I am around these types of individuals.
I think that's what's so eye-opening is you learn, especially over the years and through the experiences, how covertly they move and how many times there are people that you would not assume had that, racist, pretty much what I call racist tendencies, right? When they'll tell you
undertones.
I don't even know why them boys is sitting there kneeling on the football field. I just want to watch the game. Slow down, daddy. Like you realize what they kneeling for, right? You know what all this is. Oh man, but then okay, all right, I see you.
Yeah,
I understand, and it's some of my proudest moments, right, are figuring out ways to articulately slap around a covert racist, right? I remember one time I'm in Vegas and we're going to like this big home show. One of my best friends has a real estate agency. We were at like this huge home show in Vegas and we're waiting to ride the tram. I think we were staying at the Monte Carlo or something, but we're waiting to ride the tram all the way down to the Vegas Convention Center. And as we're on the on the tram line, whatever. We're sitting up there, we're talking, and I have on like a leather, it's a leather blazer and some jeans and whatever. And I don't know, the dude was with his wife, and he said some like that's what it was. The train came by and it skipped us after we'd all been sitting there for a while. The train came by and skipped us. So the dude made some pretty much a slick comment of saying it skipped us because I was there. The black guy was there. Like pretty much like, and it was like the way he said it, he was trying to be slick and funny and thought it was whatever. And instead of just laughing it off, I don't know, I can't recall the exact way that I put him in his place, but we wound up having a full conversation because he wound up being, he was going to the convention as well. He wound up being like working in like the state's like building department or something. Like he had some type of prestigious position. But by the end of the conversation to get on the train and finding out that we were going there too and all this other stuff, I pretty much verbally jabbed this dude up so bad that his wife was ready to pretty much leave, like with me and my homeboy, from as small as I made this dude feel, from just like pretty much letting him know, like, you talking real racist and you have no clue who I am, where I come from. And I was just putting them all in this place. And I mean, it's just those moments, they're empowering, but it's also so eye-opening to see how much of that is present.
You know, you talking about articulately expressing yourself to the racist, it reminds me, it takes me back, because I went to see Black Klansman this past weekend.
Yeah.
You saw it. And the spoiler alert, if anybody is listening, you should have seen it by now. It's a week after.
Gosh, don't give out too much of a spoiler, because I still want to see it now. Come on.
But the articulate manner in which, what's this? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's at the end of the movie, and it's after everything has happened. I'm actually have to go back and see it, because I did end up going to a late show and kind of halfway falling asleep in the movie or whatever. But the articulate way in which he gave it to David Duke at the end of the movie was hilarious. But I love how they set it up too, man, because he started off as a rookie and he just had an immense amount of confidence.
Yeah. He swag on.
It's crazy.
Heavy.
Like he just kind of went in and kind of, they gave him this crazy assignment. And he just, stepped up to the plate and then asked for more and then asked for more and then just took things into his own hands, man. It was
it's a true story.
I know.
I did not know it was a true story until I went. Well, I knew when I got there.
I guess, but Key and Peele gave that to Spike.
Right,
and then he produced it, but he gave it to Spike like on some. I know you would do the most justice making this movie.
Yeah, I read the article in GQ magazine and Spike talked a little bit about how that all transpired. He was just basically like, he knew I would do the shit right. And he really did. I actually think that's probably one of his best movies since like Do the Right Thing. He has had several movies come out in like recent months that just go under the radar because they're like independent films. But it was really enjoyable, guys. You should definitely check that out.
Yeah, that first 10 minutes, that interview that he does, classic. Classic.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna check that out.
When I went to see it, I was with my wife, and I was kind of like, I walked in, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a bunch of black people, maybe some Latins. But
I was actually sitting next to two white people.
It was a lot of bright light in that room. I was just like,
hey, I'll tell you what when I went and saw
the story, they say read a book, and now they watch movies, see what's happening. They want to know the details.
When I went and saw Black Panther, I watched two white people walk out of it, and it was like the craziest thing. They walked out of it when when Buddy was like getting busted out of jail or something like that. But pretty much like when some white people got killed.
Oh yeah,
you could tell like they were just. I'm not gonna sit here and watch these. To take over everything. What are you?
Yes.
Hey, that's hilarious, man.
But the fact that was, it was definitely true. I'm sure the book has way more information than a movie could possibly put out there. But it's the messages inside the movie was amazing. The tie back in to the current phase now and what David Duke was saying then what he says now, and then how it's actually playing out now.
What was
It's all
even-
tied in. That was
Even more
interesting.
hilarious was that, last week, the weekend it came out was when they had the alt-right march here in like DC.
But that was the same time?
It was the same weekend. It was last weekend. And I think this was opening
The
weekend.
anniversary.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. And I heard that the alt-right protest wasn't, that big for them this time around.
Oh yeah, no, but there was massive police and everything. It was like way, yeah.
And
way
I think the light has been shined on. They're not as covert as they were able to be previously, right?
Mm-hmm.
After last time, with how many people were getting called out, and how many dudes tried to play the, I'm just a teacher in Michigan, and yeah, but we saw you in the meeting. Ain't this you right here, Bob? Yeah, this right here. Yeah, this you, Bob. That's you, right? That's you, right?
Bill. Bill right there.
A lot of them said, you know what? I'm not risking that anymore. Like I saw Bob, Steve, Frank, Fedor, and Maxwell all got fired.
I think that's the big thing, man. People are afraid. People are so afraid to be labeled as racist. So like I think that there may be a big reason why people are even participating in things that they may not like particularly participate in. You know what I mean? Or not. Or even when you walked into the office and they stopped talking. You know what I mean? They may have been afraid to say something that labeled them as such. People are just so afraid to be labeled as that. And it's like, yo, if that's you, then be. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like, yo, just be real. Like, if you racist, don't hide it.
I think the funny thing is that they don't think they're racist, and that's what the crazy thing is, right? Is that they do not they seriously think what they are stating is facts, in that
it's normal for them.
If
you look at the
love fried chicken, all people love fried chicken. It's not about the color of your skin; it's about the quality of the chicken that is fried, and so it's. They don't even they have a mental block, literally, of understanding that, wow, I'm racist. Like they literally don't think that the statements and the way that they feel are being racist.
And I don't think that, just because they're being racist, it doesn't necessarily mean that they I hate black people. You know what I mean? They just being, and maybe racist isn't the best word, but being they're stereotyping. You know what I mean? If you will, or something like that. Just you're labeling or you're grouping. What's the word? Not grouping.
I don't know.
Classifying. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, I think that people are so afraid to be labeled as that. So they walk on eggshells, and it just makes for awkward conversation in the workplace or outside the workplace. Well,
I like to break that. I've asked my some of my friends from some of my Indian friends that are hey, why don't you guys ever marry black women? And he was just like, huh? And I was like, just wondering.
See, that's that Carol shit, man. Y'all just be asking random ass, rude ass questions.
Why not? I feel like I've had a rapport now. I don't want to assume anything. So I'm trying to ask you instead of assuming. Hey, this is weird. Why is it? I've seen you marry Indians, you marry Asians, you marry white. Why not marry by any black? And then he was like, it's just a caste system. I said, oh, okay. So it's about the systems of. He's like, yeah. He goes, it's not about that. If they were living in India and they were a part of a system, to be fine. But it's just the way that we just are. And I was like, okay. I was like,
so they don't marry blacks based on their class, because to their culture, blacks are classified at a lower.
Just like in the Cuban culture, you can date, but you can't marry.
I mean, just like in every culture, the darker your skin, the lower you are. Period.
Yeah,
that's it. That way in Jamaica.
Yeah,
it is.
It's all ingrained in the back of the head, because it's just the way that it's been, and it's not. It's just, I'm waiting for it to reverse. It's slowly but surely becoming.
I feel like it kind of.
The funny thing though is that but you gotta realize it when you're talking about reverse. It's not reversing because the power is not reversing. Just because they still decide to mimic and use and take. You know what I mean? Does not mean that it's providing the true, equality and benefit that we are hoping it represents, right? Just because they filling their butt and their lips up with collagen and everything to look like us doesn't mean that they respect us. And you know what I mean?
Yep. I was totally thinking about just the fact that there's more darker skin being.
Yeah, I think it's a.
Being put to the front.
Calm down, Fresh. Calm down.
Go there,
Just a little bit.
My
Hey,
bad.
man. Hey, so I missed last week when y'all was talking about the I Promise School and LeBron James, man. Shout out to him and and all that school is going to accomplish, man. I think it's a great showing of what we as a people can accomplish. And I don't know if you guys heard or not, but two things I want to highlight of change that is kind of going on the grassroots level. And it's kind of some of the change that we've spoken about that we're looking to continue to do as a people going forward. But in St. Louis, you had Wesley Bell defeat the seven-term incumbent Bob McCullough in that Democratic primary for that county. It's a county, not county commissioner. He's a litigator, so he's gonna be like the county, the lawyer. It's almost like attorney general, or a district attorney, but it's a county lawyer position.
Okay.
Wesley Bell, he's pretty much a shoo-in to win it after winning the Democratic. Not the district attorney, because it's literally on the county level, so it's really for just St. Louis County. But that voter turnout for that community after the Mike Brown and Darren Wilson situation, because remember, this is the same county prosecutor. That's what I'm looking for. It's the same county prosecutor that didn't bring charges to Darren Wilson. Not to say that they can come up now if Wesley Bell wins the race, which he probably will. But that change and influx into the city, into the political arena, is what we've been looking to do. Not only that, but you have Mike Brown's mother now running for a city council seat also.
Yep.
So big things happening, big change happening that we're pushing, and we just want to continue to keep that momentum going into November with these midterms and what have you.
This is going to be a big, heavy midterm. I mean, just across all. I think it's probably going to be one of the most voted, talked about, kind of politicized midterm in a long time. Power can shift.
What I'm interested in seeing is the next census that comes out, because I think you're going to see such a large. I think you're going to see such a large influx of voters, primarily African American voters, because of the disgust and fed up nature, and the position that some can say the Democratic Party put ourselves in, and the people who didn't vote the last time around. Mm-hmm. I think that turnout is going to be so huge. You're going to start to look at the majority and minority numbers and to see how much that gap is kind of closing, if it is in fact closing at all.
I was watching Daily Show and with Trevor Noah, and he had on some of the kids that were against the gun violence and the school voting process, and they were saying that we've been successful to get young people to register to vote, but now they're registered and they're sitting at home. So the next step is yes, okay, we got you voting. Now how are we going to get you to the office? Are we going to get buses out there and say, hey, we'll pick you up, we'll bring you there? That's the next movement, is organizing, get out of your house, go to your county's voting and press a button. Because that's the missing factor now.
That's what happened in Alabama.
Uber.
Same thing.
Bank or something, where it's you can Uber there for free or something.
Yeah.
That would be dope, man. That would be dope.
Diddy, there it is. That's all for you. P. Diddy, Russell. Well, Russell's right now in the Cayman Islands somewhere.
Russell ain't coming back.
He's still running for the Me Too, man.
He's MIA right now.
He ain't coming back for quite some time. That man gonna be, everything is gonna be video feeds. He ain't gonna be touching no time soon. But yeah, it's the craziest thing, right, with the younger generation is their involvement in technology, but then their lack of motivation of getting out and doing, because they're not of the generation of going out and playing, right? Most of the stuff is done here. Wherever I'm at, I can do it here.
I get what you're saying.
In this area, I don't have to go, they didn't have that interaction in the have to go out to, I'm going to the arcade to go play video games. You know what I mean? No, everything is right here. I got everything accessible. I don't even barely have to roll out of my bed to get everything. The only thing I got to do is be able to get food. And even that, I can still get delivered with this same thing. And so that's going to be the biggest.
That's going to be the big push, man, making it convenient and easy to do, man. I think that Uber idea is huge, man. Whoever jumps on that and grasps that, that's gonna be big, getting people to the polls, man. And even in the elderly, I know they got the jitneys in Miami and everything. So, we gotta figure out a way to make sure that mobilization.
Well, I know they've
effort.
always
Or Lyft.
elderly have always had the bus systems and everything, and they're used to it, right? Like,
Right.
look
They
at
are.
older voters; they've always had good bus systems and things like that going for them. Maybe not in the poorer areas, but
Mhm.
definitely
Yep.
in average. You know what I mean? For the older voters, it's really about getting that younger. You know what I mean? 25 to the 18-year-olds, them engaged in understanding in while technology and the internet has made us so much more aware and made it so much present and talked about. It's about the execution now. Like, you have to get that same type of, like Art brought up Diddy, that same type of feel when he was doing the Rock the Vote and in
Or
the
die.
yeah, it's got to have that type of momentum in order to really get the final product. But I do feel the seeds are there, right? They've already been planted and are growing because there's so much impressive work I see done by younger people.
Yeah, and they're the one leading it. You're right.
Yep,
Mhm.
Right.
and seeing their thought process of equality and thinking about a bigger picture is very impressive. But again, it's about the execution. Where is it all going to fall, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? That's when we really see what the benefits of what's going on right now.
Speaking of elephants, Omarosa.
Hey, listen, man. We can talk about Omarosa in a second. I gotta make sure I get these segments in.
I just want to say that out there, so everyone listening probably is like, "Whoa, yeah."
Man.
So I'm gonna put that out there. We can move on, but yeah, that is happening right now.
I'm gonna need an update in a second, but I'm gonna stick with you, Faison. We got to get your Arts Corner in so I can get my man Fresh and J Dace in.
Oh man, I shoot. Assumptions are killers. We talked about it earlier, and it's really just about stepping back and not assuming anything. And if you make a mistake, admit to the mistake and move on, because it's going to happen. You're not perfect, but don't assume that anyone knows, understands, or where it is. Be straightforward and answer the statement. Make sure the statement is full. Don't leave a statement where it's still lagging things behind it. End it with a period, because if not, someone can assume the rest of it's going to be written a different way.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, will significantly reduce the amount of workplace conflict you have. No assumptions. Do not leave it up to assumption.
That's what they say about assumptions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, who's up next, man? Fresh or J Dace? I wasn't here last week when we did the fit tip. All right, Jay, you going last.
Yeah. Jay's going to make it phenomenal. So we got to end it off.
Oh, Fresh, man. What you got fresh in biz this week, baby?
Fresh in biz from the Entrepreneur Ninjas Corner. Man, do not be afraid. Two things. Do not be afraid to ask for and to accept help. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we get caught up in wanting to beat our chest out on the things that we have accomplished on our own, the things that we have done on our own, and how self-made we are on our own. However, the greatest tasks have been accomplished with teams and with help and with other advice. So don't be afraid to ask for help when you are in a situation that you cannot execute to the best potential, but then also be accepting of when somebody is reaching out that hand to say, hey, I can help with something. Don't be so caught up in wanting to be so self-made that you don't allow that help to get you to that next level. That's it. Entrepreneur Ninja number 1.
Man, when you were saying about that self-made stuff, it just made me think back to like one of the old Kevin Hart stand-ups when he was I did this by myself, and he ran
one man in boom.
Yeah, that joint. Yeah. And he ready to go night. Yeah. Shout out to Kevin Hart, man. I see he bouncing back real well. And he got a movie coming with Tiffany Haddish.
Looks hilarious.
I don't know. Is she really that funny?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it previews.
Yeah,
She-
I mean, she has a character. Her character is being
She's
played,
her, like she's
but
got her lane. But to me, she's like Kevin Hart, where it's
Yeah.
like it's
Exactly.
they have their lane and have mastered, like they know the character that they play, both on stand up in any movie.
Mhm.
What other movies she played in? Like I'm trying to just draw one.
She did Girls Trip. That's when she blew up.
Yep.
And then she has 2 movies out, I think. One with Kevin Hart, and then there's another
Another
one.
one where she's with the chick from Todd Perry works for her a lot all the time, and it's like like a girl, she come from out of jail. Yeah, it was
that one.
The last time in a preview.
Right. Yeah, she has a Netflix special, right? I gotta check her out.
I'm pretty sure she's got a lot of. She's been in a lot of like, the sidekick,
Right.
random Felicia type
Yeah,
role.
I mean, Kevin Hart started there too, so you know what I mean. Maybe that's work his way up.
Hey, Kevin Hart was on Soul Plane, man.
Right.
Soul Plane was a good
Kevin
movie.
Hart-
That was a good movie though.
But I remember like
he
watching
wasn't on
that
it.
and being
He
like,
was
Right, that was his movie, yo.
Right.
That was his movie.
like at that moment in time, I didn't look at him like he was a comedian in that role. Like I just thought he was some new little black Tay Diggs type dude.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right. No,
Like, I had no clue he was on a path of comedy in that role. Like to me, it was just, they got this little Tay Diggs type dude, and he's just the new. Okay, all right, I see, little buddy. This movie kind of funny.
Actually, yep. J Dace, what you got, man? Fit tip of the week.
Yeah, man. Look, if you just start.
No.
Wow.
Give it to us. Give it to us, Shay. Don't start off like that. You
see what happens when you made it, America. You can go in talking about the reverse Oreo.
Right.
No, nah.
I'm not. No, look, man. I'm not gonna go hard on the people, man. You know what I mean? This is for the people. Listen,
I need that same Traffic 52 energy, man. Let's go.
We want the phenomenal energy.
Right.
Phenomenal.
Bust somebody car speakers. No, but listen, yo, if you just now getting started on your weight loss journey, right? And you're just trying to figure out, you just kind of weaning yourself into it. I'm a big advocate for substitute over sacrifice. You know what I mean? So if you got like a long standing relationship for chips, you know what I mean? Y'all been married for a little bit. You don't really want to get it up yet. It's real. I just speaking from experience. Yo, don't set yourself up for failure. You know what I mean? Like you can still get the chips, but get the chips that have the container is 1 serving. You know what I mean? Because a lot of chips have like about 3 servings, 4 servings in it. So just get the bag that has 1 serving per container. And that way you get into the habit of mentally and physically, you get into the habit of choosing healthier options, but also checking your nutrition facts on the back of your products. So yeah, man, substitute over sacrifice, man.
Absolutely. Substitute over sacrifice. I'm trying to substitute.
Containers of chips. America, if you buy containers,
well, the container be in the
let it go. Let it go.
They got the Lays in the container.
2 pallets of chips.
That's hilarious. Right. Oh man, hey man, I think going along with that, you gotta look at the label. I went into a grocer or
like good job.
Yeah, I went into a grocer and thought I was getting me something decent for lunch, a chicken salad sandwich, and I substituted my chips for the veggie straws. Right? I'm trying to do that. And then I'm walking out of the store, and then something just tells me, man, let me look and see what's in this, man. And I see 1,300 milligrams sodium.
Yeah.
The veggie straw joints?
I was like, yo, I can't eat this. Like, I had to throw it away. Like, and I didn't even feel comfortable enough giving it to like a homeless person or something. Because
it's like, what? Well, how are y'all packing this? What do you do that with?
What are we doing? Like, you just take the container of salt and just go.
Your mind, veggie straws, and your mind go, oh, it's a vegetable. You know what I mean? So you try to think.
No, the veggie straws are good. It was the chicken salad sandwich. Yeah, the veggie straws are perfect. Those are like my go-to now.
Trying to make it last for a day and a half, so you gotta salt up.
Yeah, no, not at all. Don't do it, America. But what you do want to do is catch this podcast. We drop every Friday. Catch the YouTube video, the Vimeos, SoundCloud, Apple iTunes, Google Play. Where else we at?
All over.
Man. Wherever you listen to. I know I'm missing.
Listen.
Spotify. That's where I'm missing.
We officially have followers in Canada.
Thanks to you.
We crossed the
International.
border.
Thanks to you.
We actually had
And you're live from the 6.
before.
We had
Because
we had listeners in freaking London.
We
London,
had listeners in
one.
Peru. All
One.
right.
Gotta
When we
love
first
it.
started this thing, we had listeners in Peru. Okay. I don't know if they were speaking the King's
international.
English or not.
Don't talk it
Yeah.
twisted.
Yeah, baby. Just want to put it out there.
No doubt.
We're 81 in. That's a lot.
Hey,
And I tell people that, hey, oh yeah, your podcast. Oh yeah, it's awesome. What it's about? Someone's about. Oh yeah, 80 episodes. You have 80 episodes. Yep, get ready to catch up. right. Subscribe and start from 1.
Because we not slowing down.
No, not slowing down at all. Easy, man. We about to get up out of here, man. Thank you all for listening, ladies and gentlemen, to us here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
yeah,
We stopped doing that around
The
like
13th
episode
floor.
15, 16.
I'm taking it deep.
exactly. I'll say
Yo, the NFL is crazy, man. They're definitely about
The 13th floor.